Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisgule Gaming, and in today's video, sponsored by the makers of Rise of Kingdoms, believe it or not, we've got a KvK match, and not only have we got a KvK match, but this might be one of the top KvKs of the year, and we're only like 2 months into the year, and this is happening. Why would this be one of the top KvKs of the year? We have 1093, 2377, 1960, 1365, 1606, and look, if I were listing off, well, gosh, what are some of the top kingdoms in the game right now? They're all here. The only Imperium that I know of that could have queued for this and chose not to, for whatever reason, and it kind of doesn't matter, was 1875. And there's some funny posts on Facebook about that. But at the end of the day, they didn't register. They have their reasons, and it is what it is. Here's who's here. And let me show you the map and who the allies are. All right, my friends, what you're looking at here is the Orleans KvK that is going to be... That's right, a top versus bottom KvK. Oh, baby, oh, baby, oh, baby. 1093, 1960, and 2941, 1473, and 1814. Okay, versus 2377, 1365, 1606, and 2975. This is going to be a really crazy KvK because we need to talk very briefly about how this map works. And I think I remember, but I'm not totally sure. So you keep me honest down below in the comments. But if I remember correctly, the weirdness of Orleans map, besides the fact that you just swarm everything in Kingsland, is that you kind of end up with a left versus right situation. And the reason that top versus bottom kind of makes sense is that your leftmost kingdom, 1365, doesn't have a great way to access the right side of the map, and 1960 doesn't have a great way to access the left side of the map, and it just is what it is. So starting out, you immediately have a zone fight with 1960, which is insane. So 2377 will have a zone fight versus 1960 right off rip, which is totally nuts. Like, a lot of people want to see this 1v1, and a lot of people speculate if there were a kingdom in the game that could beat 1960 in a 1v1, it would be 2377. 2377 just came off of an easier KvK, and also 2377 has, I think, more fielders. Now, when you look at their power capped, the power is very similar. I think our power is actually higher, but obviously our kill points are much lower when you uncap it. So you have, Wild Lion counting as 2 billion and Mr. Hope counting as 2 billion. And you've got BT Cyborg at like 1 billion. Did I say million or billion? Anyways, they're billions. Those guys are billions. It's insane. So this fight happens pretty quickly. And I don't know how recovered 1960 is from their last KvK. I think they generate speed-ups pretty fast over there, if I had to guess. But I don't know. Is draining really a factor in the first fight? I'll tell you this. It's going to eat up so many resources, it's going to be jaw-dropping. To zone 5 fight, 2377 and 1960 is nuts. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, you've got 1365 fighting against 1093. And the crazy thing about both of these kingdoms is I think they've had pretty major migrations. Baba, as I understand, is still in 1365, right? So this is going to be a really crazy fight as well. And how hard they punch is going to depend a lot on how those migrations went. I'm very eager to see what that 1365 versus 1093 matchup shapes up to be. 1093 has done the thing that they know how to do, which is the go wide strategy. They've done this for ages. My understanding is they had a huge migration in and kicked out some number of top power players in order to do this very go wide strategy for recruiting a ton of players that you overwhelm the field, which, hey, in this KvK format, it's a big deal. 1365, however, is also, last I checked, a multi-alliance kingdom. I don't know if they still are. And I'm pretty sure Dracothian is playing again in 1365. Oh my God. So anyways, while those zone fights are happening, the middle kingdoms are big chilling, as they say, going into these zones for free. Big chilling. If I remember correctly. I don't know. But then, regardless of who wins up top over here, these kingdoms have access, right, to either kind of zone. Yeah, it'd be more like this. Anyways, these kingdoms have access to multiple zones, so they can continue on even if we lose. we can still continue on, or if they lose, they can still continue on. And it becomes this left versus right, but now the middle camps break the balance of what it looks like. So this is really interesting where you start to assess like who could win this KvK, because what you have to look at is like, well, who do you think wins the 1v1? 2377 or 1960? And like by how much? If it's a pretty even fight, then the middle camps have a lot to say in the outcome. If the 1365, 1093 is a pretty even fight, then those middle camps have a lot to influence in the sort of final outcomes of the KvK. So these next zones, if I remember correctly, like winning this zone does give you some position advantage going into the next fight. I could be misremembering, but I don't think that I am. Anyways, so then you've got fights over here. All right. And this gets really interesting. Fight over here. It might look something like this. I don't know. I got to go revisit the map. We'll do that toward the end of the video. We'll go look at the passes and the sequencing. But if I remember correctly, you can't really go from like one side of the map to the other side of the map until much later in the KvK. So this fight unfolds for honestly, I think it was like a week before Kingsland opens. It is a lot of fort defending, as I recall, because as you get further and further into the Orleans KvK, you get more and more of the auxiliary skills, making it just impossible to garrison anything. Like if you think you're going to be able to garrison a flag, let me clue you in, you're wrong. Everything's getting swarmed at the power level of players in this KvK, which is, in case it was unclear, through the freaking roof. So I think the sort of upside of a top versus bottom KvK is that it probably makes the most sense in terms of getting to a cool Kingsland. But it's very hard to say what's going to happen, right? Like the way you evaluate this KvK is like, who do you think wins the 1v1s? If you think the top war camp is winning both 1v1s, if you say, hey, 1960 is pretty much undefeated, okay, pretty much undefeated, they're going to win that. And you say 1093 is insane, they're going to win that. Then the question becomes, do you think the middle camps offset that or not? If you think that the, bottom kingdoms are going to win for whatever reason, right? Like, then you might say, well, will the middle camp be the differentiator? I tend to lean in the direction of the bottom war camps probably needing the middle camp to be a differentiator, if I had to guess. And I do have to guess. Because I'm going to be honest, I'm not particularly familiar with these middle kingdoms, and I'm not particularly familiar with the migration that 1093 had and 1365 had. Like, we got to have a closer look. 1365 has always had like really crazy stats, and both 1365 and 1960, honestly, and 1093, and probably 2377 all have like crazy farm fill. But I don't know how much you can use farm fill in this KvK. Like, it's just too fast. The swarming is too insane. It's too intense. So I just don't know how this one's going to go, man. Do I think this will make for a lot of content and a lot of fighting? Yes. So obviously subscribe. My restart account, by the way, also got into a KvK, which I can show you very briefly the kingdoms that are there, but the Diplo for that one is still happening. But let's go just get a quick peek at the Orleans map and talk about the sequencing of the passes. All right, we're looking at an Orleans map, and this does work the way that I thought. So this is where 2377 is starting. You can see we can enter into either of these sort of side zones, right? And it does look like winning a zone 5 gives you a definite advantage going into the next zone. I mean, this is a meaningful advantage. But like, okay, so let me just say something that I should have said earlier. Is there really going to be a winner? Like 1960 and 2377 show up in a zone together. Is there going to be a winner where one side clears the other out? Or are we both just going to tire? Because I'm telling you, the amount of resources that are going to get spent in this zone, if we fight for like a full week, it is, with the crystal technology being what it will be, it is going to be so expensive. It is actually just going to be completely insane. Yeah, no, I'm going to need some more resources. And so just like I was saying, Then you've got the center fight. And over here is the, yeah. This is the pass connecting the two sides, right? And so, that only opens later. It looks like actually in this KvK, oh, wait. That opens after Kingsland. That doesn't even open till after Kingsland, bro. Yeah, no, left side and right side, they can't touch at all until after Kingsland? Is that right? Wow. I feel like either the pass order changed or I'm misremembering or probably both. Anyways, I'm probably just misremembering, actually. Who knows? But this opening is kind of like, yeah, no, the sides they can't connect. So the middle kingdoms have this huge role in like shifting the balance of like, hey, who needs support? There's a lot that's going to happen in this KvK, and if you're hyped to see it, and I'm hyped to play it, then consider subscribing because this is going to be a banger, man. And I actually think this has the potential to be the best KvK of the year, which is a little bit of a bummer that like we start the year off with the best KvK we might possibly get, but at the same time, hey, look, that leaves the entire rest of the year for something awesome to happen. So subscribe. I'm hyped to be in 2377 to be able to play this KvK. This is going to be a lot of fun. And like I said, like if there's a kingdom in the game that can beat 1960 or vice versa, that can beat 2377, right? It's the other kingdom on the other side that's going to be battling in this KvK, which is like really, really cool. This is going to be exciting. Yeah. Very humbly suggesting, I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know which side is sort of favored, so to speak. There's just so many factors to look at. A lot's going to be determined in these Zone 5 fights, though. So if you want to see that happen, subscribe, because I'll show it. And let me just show you my restart KvK real quick. All right, so we queued for a Tides of War, which is a KvK format I like for getting resources back. But here it is. We're in the upper left camp, 2293 and 3251. The Imperium in the room is 1818. Diplo is still, I think, happening. So I don't know what the deal is for final results here. And I definitely look forward to figuring out what this is going to be too. In fact, I think I've got a map with the power. Let me pull that up real quick. All right, here it is. The restart KvK. What are we looking at here? So we've got a power of 39 billion and 1.8 trillion kill points. The bottom right camp, oh God, 53? Whoa, 53 billion power? Okay. 2.7 trillion kill points? Ayo. Okay. And then upper right, 49 billion power, 1.3 trillion kill points. Bottom left, 53.6 billion power, 2 trillion kill points. I feel like one of these things is not like the others. Certainly for power, and also for kill points. That's the upper right camp on the kill points, and the upper left camp, that's my camp, on the power. Well, I don't know, man. I don't know how I'm going to play this KvK. I'm going to be honest with you. 2 accounts in KvK at the literal exact same time with no stagger whatsoever is going to be a content feast. What are we talking about? So anytime I'm not fighting on my main, I'll be fighting over here. So subscribe. You're not going to want to miss it. I got to figure out what my strategy is for this account in this kingdom. I got to lose power whenever I'm on, like as fast as I can. GG. I have to be so impactful in the time that I'm on. Anyways, until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Take care, everybody.